Alright guys, let's go. Welcome back to the channel. I'm DM, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Something I've never done on the channel before. Today we're going to do a reaction video. So, for those of you who don't know, what is a reaction video? A video where you react to something. That's the simplest way to put it. The other day, actually I believe yesterday, Jimmy Wong and Josh Lee Kwai of CommandCast put out a video, and as you can see on the title up here, it was a Magic Community Spotlight. The overarching intent of the video was to bring attention to other Magic the Gathering content creators. However, they did talk a little bit in the beginning about a topic that's kind of near and dear to my heart, and hopefully if you guys are subscribed and enjoying videos like our MTGO EDH League, a little bit important to you. And if you haven't heard the news, then it might be important to you. It's a little outdated. I believe they recorded it. I'll explain as we go. But yeah, so when I first saw this video, I had certain opinions about it, and I kind of wanted to share them with you, um, just to give everybody a different perspective. For everybody who saw Josh and Jimmy's, um, they're two great guys. They're two great content creators. I really enjoy not only watching the content that they put out on YouTube, but their podcasts. And just interacting with them on social media. I go back and forth sometimes with them on Twitter, stuff like that. They're really good guys. So as a disclaimer, two disclaimers. One, for anybody who's going to be like, oh, you can't just take somebody's video and record over it and call it yours. I'm not calling anything mine. These are just my opinions to their video, and I did tag them on Twitter and say, hey, would you guys mind if I did a reaction to your video? Josh replied back saying that as long as it was nice, go ahead, essentially. And then the second disclaimer is essentially, I don't want anybody to get a mixed interpretation, right? These are my opinions on the topics. I might not agree with Jimmy, I might not agree with Josh, and that's fine. It's nothing personal. I don't dislike Jimmy or Josh when I disagree with them. I just have a difference of opinion. And that's one of the things that's great about our community with Magic the Gathering, is that we all do have different perspectives, different experiences, and all this other silly, crazy nonsense. And that's what makes us unique and so diverse and all this other, all that good stuff, all those buzzwords that you could possibly use. So take nothing personal. If I say I disagree with somebody, it's not meant as I disagree with them because insert insult here. I'm not going to even say anything because I don't want anybody to get that wrong idea. Nothing personal. It's just my opinion. Different for them. I'll agree with some of the stuff they say. I'll disagree with some of the stuff they say. But so what we're going to do is we're going to watch the video. I'm going to pause it at certain points and talk a little bit about my thoughts on what they say. And then we're just going to get through it. And then at the end, if you guys have your own opinions, hit me up on Twitter. You can put in the comments below. Of course, as always, guys, I appreciate it if you like and comment on the video. If you're new, if this kind of stuff interests you, I'm thinking about doing more Magic content like this, like vlogs and stuff like that. If it's interesting, subscribe. If you are subscribed and you're not always getting notified of the videos, make sure you ring the bell on the way out, because that's how YouTube knows that you want to be notified when I upload something. So without further ado, let's get into their video together. They have one of the coolest intros of all content creators. Look at this. Look at this.
Greetings, humans. You have entered the command zone, your destination for all aspects of Elder Dragon Highlander.
Just because I love
Enjoy your stay.
watching good Magic content.
It's a song time, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I hadn't even thought about that.
I have one that's been stuck in my head, but I don't know what the name of the actual song is.
Is it a theme song or is it a regular song?
It's a song that you undoubtedly have heard on the internet.
Okay, let's do it.
That's it.
I don't even recognize it. And you don't know the name of the song?
I don't know the name of the song, but it is one of this. It's called the Epic Sax Guy, Moldova. It's like this. I'll just start playing it here. It's just they have this thing where they do it's in Europe where they do top musical artists or whatever, and this is they always perform live, and so. In one song, there's this one little bit where this guy's dressed up looking like a total bro playing the sax, and he just plays this over and over again. And it's turned into a meme because just like, look at the guy go. But it was part of a larger song, and I don't know what the actual name is, but like, yeah, it's part of this like Moldova. Okay, it's here. It's called Runaway. But there's like a whole performance, and it's like super epic. But at one point, he just the whole song breaks down, and he does that little riff, and then people just turn that into an internet meme.
This is the best Name That Tune ever.
Yep. There is no rhyme or reason to it. We spent about a minute on it. So how's it going, everybody? You are watching.
This has nothing to do with the overall topic that I want to react to, but I just want to say that they do something like that at the beginning of almost all their videos. I can't think of a video I've seen where they don't do it, and it's always like really great to start something, anything, conversation with somebody, a meeting or anything on a high note, and that's exactly what that does. I think that's really cool. That's a good idea.
Listening to the Command Zone podcast. I'm your host, Jimmy Wong.
How's it? It's Josh Lee Kwai.
And today, it's going to be a fun episode, and one that has been a long time coming, I think.
Yeah, today we're going to put a spotlight on other MTG content out there. You know, a lot of people we've gotten this sort of sentiment a lot recently, which is like, how did I just now find you guys? Mm-hmm. And I think Game Nights has really exposed us to a lot of people that maybe wouldn't have found us otherwise. And, you know, we thought it would be nice that people are finding us to help them find some other content out there that maybe they haven't been aware of until now.
Which is pretty exciting because there's a lot of Magic content out there. A lot. But first, before we dive into all of our favorite content creators in the world and spotlighting people in the community, this show is brought to you by another community member, cardkingdom.com. You may have seen them on the Twitters. They've been doing a lot more videos recently. And they're also an online retailer of Magic the Gathering cards, accessories, and products. You can go to cardkingdom.com/commandzone. That's our affiliate link. If you use that link and then buy some stuff from them, they'll know that we sent you.
Yep, and they also just started a blog. They've been, like Jimmy said, dipping their toe in the water of content creation. So another reason to go to cardkingdom.com/commandzone, and you can check that stuff out. We also have a second sponsor for the show.
Very exciting, and we've worked with them before on Game Nights. They actually helped make Game Nights a reality. So a big thank you to Ultra Pro, woohoo, for sponsoring the show. Ultra Pro, as you guys know, is probably the single largest manufacturer of Magic the Gathering everything. Like, probably 80% of the stuff behind me that's not Magic cards is made by Ultra Pro.
Yeah, sleeves, playmats, deck boxes, binders, all that stuff. In fact, we've talked a lot lately about the Eclipse sleeves, which the professor, who we'll talk about later, but he dubbed them the best sleeves on the market right now. I'm currently in the process of re-sleeving all my decks into Eclipse sleeves. Really? They're awesome. I mean, once you've gone Eclipse, you'll never go back.
Bold claim. Bold claim. I agree, though. The Eclipse sleeves are awesome. You guys see them in play on Game Nights. And finally, the other way to sponsor the show and support us is through our Patreon at patreon.com/commandzone. You can find out all the details there, how you can unlock the full version of Lifelinker and a bunch of other cool prizes you can get. Every show, we shout out a new patron. And this show, we're going to give a big old shout out to
Paul Ortiz. Paul, you rock.
Thanks, Paul, for joining the show. We appreciate all of your support. And with that, we have one last thing to mention. If you're going to Grand Prix Vegas this year from June 15th to the 18th, stick around till the end of the episode. We have an announcement, and we're going to talk about our gathering/meetup and what else we're going to be doing at the convention.
So there's been a big...
Okay, so they're about to get into the topic that we're going to talk about. I just want to say one thing. Again, irrelevant to the real reaction, but it's a reaction to what they're saying. Two things that first come to mind, and maybe one more thing. Two things. One, I let like all their advertisement stuff go through because, again, like they say, their sponsorships made their show happen. So definitely, like, anytime you have a content creator that you like their videos, comment on their videos, subscribe to them, talk to them on Twitter. Like, they don't get money from Twitter, but it lets them know that the interest is there. It guides them toward doing whatever it is that they need to do to catch your interest even more, to maybe get you to do something that will provide them some kind of money, like just watching videos. You guys just watching this video, I'll put this link in the description below because it's an hour-long thing. We're not going to go through a whole hour just before anybody freaks out thinking, wow, he's going to react to an hour worth of stuff. No. Just the first, like, 15-20 minutes or so is what we're going to talk about. But yeah, so if you have a content creator that you really like, give them your attention, like watch their videos, like and comment on their videos, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Like if they have a Patreon and you can, you have the kind of funds to be able to do that, do those kind of things. It really, you have no idea how much it can not just help them out by, you know, obviously giving them funding, but it means a lot. It on a morale and personal level, like it means a lot when people take interest in like what I do. I'm no big YouTuber. I'm no big content creator, but when a couple people like I put out a poll asking if people would watch vlogs if I vlog about nerd stuff, and I got like 6 votes the same day, and I would have been surprised to get 6 votes in a week. That was awesome for me. It's something silly, something small, but it meant a lot to me, and it motivated me to want to do stuff. So that's the first thing. The second thing, this video, as they said, like the whole video, we're only again going to talk about the first 15-20 minutes, but the whole video is for them talking about other content creators. They talk about MTG Finance. They talk about Commander Versus from Star City Games. Let's just highlight the fact that it's awesome that these guys went and made a video that promotes and draws attention to other people who do something that they do, like other people in their industry who, from a business perspective, like those are their competitors. Star City Games is technically a competitor because if you're buying cards from Star City Games, you might not buy them from Card Kingdom, or if you buy them from Card Kingdom, you might not buy them from Star City Games. It it shows a lot of character to go out and want to just make the community, like to want your audience to have as much content as they can by going out and promoting somebody who is maybe not affiliated with you. But you know, I'm sure a lot of these guys, a lot of these content creators get to know each other from going to like the Grand Prix or whatever, so they're probably friends. But sometimes there's like lines in between friends when it comes to business stuff. But these guys, the Commander Versus guys, have talked about these guys before. Some of the other content creators probably talk about each other. I know like Wedge from the Mana Source talks to the professor from Tolarian Community College. Professor's been on game nights before. Jeremy Knowles been on videos with them before. So like the fact that they can collaborate like this it's really cool. It really shows what a tight knit community and how there really are no like business barriers in the Magic community. And I think that's one of the coolest things in the world. It's one of the reasons why I like making content. I like feeling like I'm a part of this, even though I don't really matter in the long run.
Big shake up that we need to talk about before we get into our main topic. This is sort of like a last minute addition because it just happened really basically as I was heading over here.
Yeah, this morning.
So this is the new Magic Online ban list for 1v1 Commander, although it does affect the multiplayer Commander for Magic Online. So Wizards kind of took control of a new ban list and announced it today. They've said in their article that this is focused on 1v1 because that's mostly how people play Commander on Magic Online, but because they don't want two separate ban lists online, it will affect the multiplayer people playing on Magic Online. This ban list will still apply to them, but they don't mean for it to be applied to paper Commander.
Not at all. And it's very confusing because we just had a banning and unbanning very recently on paper Commander. So,
and this directly will contradict that.
Yes, and actually this contradicts the paper ban list in a lot of ways because it's focused on 1v1. So we've talked about like French Commander before or Dual Commander, and that has a separate ban list. So people are like, wait, Sol Ring is banned. Well, it's actually banned on French Commander / Dual Commander rules, I believe. So there are a lot of ban lists floating around. This is not meant to confuse you, but just know that this is specifically only for Magic Online Commander.
We're going to talk about it here.
First reaction. And this is the reaction I had when they made the announcement, because at first everybody was like, oh, it's only going to be this new 1v1 format. It's not actually going, like, there is no separate ban list for the online multiplayer. That was like some of the first reactions, especially on Reddit, because I remember posting on a couple different threads when we were also trying to like decipher exactly. The article was written not like badly, it's just slightly confusingly. Like it's open to interpretation a little bit. So you guys, if you watch these videos, you know that me, John, my best friend, aka Lacoris, and then Danny, aka Danny Cross, my wife, we run our league through MTG Online. It's physically impossible for us to run it through, well, okay, it's not physically impossible, but it would be very different for us to run it through Paper Commander because we'd have to run it through like Skype or something like that. And we kind of enjoy doing it via Magic Online. I enjoy the idea that we are buying our products from a Wizards of the Coast affiliate. Like there's free ways of doing it. We could use, you know, Cockatrice or X-Mage, or there's a third one that I don't remember, but we don't want to do that. Like yes, I have to pay for my cards, but it's already a fraction of the price. Like I can go out and buy doubling season for like $1 as opposed to like $20. Okay, I mean, yeah, yeah, you got me sold. So if I'm gonna if I'm gonna play this game, I really do want Wizards to get my money. I don't want it to feel like I'm pirating, even though I don't think there's really ever been legal action against stuff like Cockatrice or X-Mage or anything like that. Regardless of all that, like I want Wizards of the Coast to get my money because they are delivering this product to me. Whether it's digital or whether it's on paper, they are putting forth the effort to make this product. So yeah. So I personally want to use MTGO. So there was a lot of confusion when it came out. Is this for both? Is it for one or the other? I think the first thing I could think of to react to this whole situation is that they could have communicated it a lot more clearly. Um, and like even I forget, I think it was Lee Sharp was the guy who came on to Reddit and was basically trying to answer people on Reddit like, hey, no, this is what we meant. Maybe it didn't get conveyed. Maybe the message got lost in text translation, but this is what we meant. So my first reaction was that it caused a lot of panic and confusion because people didn't understand what was being said. So that's one thing. It's not really meant to be like a criticism on Magic. It's just that was what my perspective was on based on what I saw through Reddit and so.
Because it is Wizards officially, like the French Commander ban list is handled by another third party. The Commander paper multiplayer ban list is handled by what we call the Rules Committee, which is Sheldon Menery and a few others. And now we have Wizards and their online ban list. This is all a little bit, it's frustrating to me. I don't like it because it's becoming confusing. And what we have is a format that's very healthy. There's been very little change for like 2 years in Commander. I mean, there's been a couple of little rule changes, but really they stood pat for one entire ban cycle and didn't ban anything. And they even unbanned something and banned one card. Very little change. Most people, I think, would say that Commander's in a really good place right now. And so I'm frustrated because this feels like just throwing a wrench into something that's like, you know, as close to perfect as we're likely to get in the game world.
For me, I don't.
Okay, I specifically cut Jimmy off there for a second because I've already watched the video, so I know about what he's about to say. So, I agree 100% with Josh's sentiments that it's very confusing and that makes it frustrating. Again, that day one, 0 day mentality was, oh, it's only for 1v1. Well, I don't play 1v1, I don't plan on playing in league, so I'm fine. Oh, wait, now people are starting to say it's not just for 1v1, it's for everything on MTGO. Then you had the conspiracy theorist folks coming out saying, well, this is Wizards taking over EDH. In general, like, this is Wizards taking over Commander completely. Eventually, the rules committee will be gone, and they're going to enforce these kind of rules into, like, your local game stores. That has not been said. As a matter of fact, I believe in the initial response, Wizards even said that that is not what they intended. I feel like it's step one toward going toward that. I think we're going to talk a little bit more about Wizards taking over later on in the video, so I don't want to get too far into it. But yeah, I kind of feel like it could be step one. Like they're kind of feeling it out. I'm not thrilled that this is the way they did it, but again, we're going to walk into that a little bit more. But yeah, so I completely understood Josh's frustration. I agreed with that 100%. I'm frustrated. In the ban list, Edric, Spymaster of Trust, is banned as an oppressive commander. And then this is what they were talking a little bit about banning and unbanning. Leovold, which in my opinion is way more oppressive of a commander. Way more. I don't even know what I would do if somebody brought a Leovold into my game. Especially if unless it was like something like, Sultai Elf Tribal. Okay, whatever. But if you were to put in a Leovold and then put I forget what it's called, but it's a blue-black wheel spell. If you were to cast that next turn, so I don't have a hand anymore like that, I'd probably just concede on the spot because that's not fun. Like for me, Magic, whether it's online, whether it's in paper, whether it's maybe not standard because standard is more, I don't know, maybe not the more competitive formats because again, those are typically, standard is typically one-on-one. Modern is typically one-on-one, Legacy, Vintage are typically one-on-one, whereas Commander is kind of geared toward having a group of people. So Commander for me is meant to be interactive. Like four people don't sit down to try to see who can win as soon as possible. Like you kind of want to do big stuff. You kind of want to have like this interactive hour, 2 hour game. So I guess I don't know. I guess I feel his frustration and like we do have a good idea of how to play Commander, and this confuses things. Because again, like my frustration again, you Edric is banned, and I understand in 1v1 he could be kind of annoying because like, hey, I'm gonna get creatures when I hit you, but I mean, I'm gonna get creatures. I'm gonna get to draw when I hit you with my creatures, but you're not gonna get anything. That to me is not an oppressive commander in comparison to Leovold. So I didn't understand their bans. That was one thing, and I think the original post they tried to detail out some of that stuff, or they detailed out the categories. So oppressive commanders, this is what they meant by oppressive commanders, and then they listed them, and then you're like, Leovold's not on the list, and Edric is. For me, and again, like I'm an Edric player, so I am biased because I want to play my commander, my deck that I've tuned for like 3 or 4 months. And again, like it's not, I don't consider it super oppressive, but maybe I'm crazy, or maybe there is some special way to build them and I just don't know. Like I would even say that Simic Azuri is more oppressive than Edric. But again, you Magic Wizards, you want to give us back Leovold. So I understand the frustration, and I am kind of sort of like one of those people who's like, oh, we might be kind of heading down a dangerous path. So it is what it is.
Really care because the wrench that's being thrown into the machine is a
Hold on.
relatively small one, and it's only online and
Frustrated because this feels like just throwing a wrench into something that's like, as close to perfect as we're likely to get in the game world.
For me, I don't really care because the wrench that's being thrown into the machine is a relatively small one, and it's only online and specifically 1v1. For me, I see this as a potential to get more information on what works and what doesn't, and whether or not, Soul Ring is as powerful of a card as it is, and if it needs that consideration.
But the problem is they're only going to consider it in 1v1. So now they're going to go to a bunch of data for 1v1 and apply it to multiplayer. I mean,
Well, who says they're going to do that, though?
well, you just said.
Well, I'm saying they're going to get data. Doesn't mean they're going to apply it. At the very least, I just don't think this affects enough people that it's going to be like, oh, Commander shakeup or whatever. Because the rest of us paper players, the vast majority of people that play Commander are just going to keep rumbling on like normal. So it's
Okay. So that comment actually, my initial reaction was, I was actually really surprised that um, that was the reaction that Jimmy gave, and Jimmy's welcome to it, and he's not wrong. You know what I mean? Like he's not wrong that a majority of people who play EDH are playing in paper. The MTGO. I think when I go into like the play lobby on MTGO, I see some Commander games. Ah, I've never paid enough attention to where like I would say like, oh well, half the time I see one on one, and half the time I see I don't pay enough attention, right? I go on to play with my friends. I don't play EDH one on one online unless I'm testing a deck out and it's versus either Danny or John. I don't go looking for games online one on one. I wouldn't go looking for an EDH game in general, even in paper one on one. To me, that's again, like speaking back to what I said before, that's not what Commander was about. Commander was about a bunch of players getting together and playing this one big hodgepodge, melting pot game where you have all these different strategies, all these different cards doing all these different things, and all these different people with their different perspectives on the game, trying to do cool stuff. Um, I so like right now, I'm probably more of an online player than I am a paper player, simply because I recently moved. I haven't found a play group at a local game store, and then I have kids, so a local game store is kind of hard to bring, three small children to. And my wife plays too, so it's not like I can be like, hey, Danielle, I'm gonna go out to the game store for 2 hours, and then when I come back, you can do whatever you want to do, and I'll watch the kids. I can't do that because my wife wants to do this with me, so. And again, we just moved, so we don't know people to the point where we're like comfortable leaving our kids with a babysitter that we don't really know yet. So I'm more of an online player now. I play with John online. I play with Danielle, my wife, sometimes in the living room behind me online. If something happened in Paper Commander, my thought process would not be, oh well, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. You know, and again, I'm not trying to be rude or anything to Jimmy or Josh, but that is word, not word for word, but that is essentially what he said, what Jimmy said. I don't care because it doesn't affect the majority of players. Again, keep in mind that I see this as a possible way for them to eventually try to officially, you know, legitimize legitimize the format by bringing it under Wizards purview, their domain, their realm of responsibility. So I kind of feel like it's possible that that's the way we could be going. So should you be worried about it? Like I hope nobody has anything to worry about. Like we don't play this game to worry. We don't play this game to get confused and frustrated. We play it to have fun and to, you know, spend time with people typically that we like, unless you're playing with complete strangers. And hopefully you're making friends that way, right? So like I don't want anybody to freak out, but I do want people to be aware that like there's no rule like Wizards has said before that they respect the rules community today. Like there's no rule that they're going to keep it that way, and then there's no, even if there was a rule, there's nothing going to enforce them from taking control of a format that is built off of their product. Wizards can at any second say, well, we're going to start doing the ban list. If you want to go to an official, an EDH Grand Prix, you will have to adhere to these rules. They can do that. It's their right. Um, so it's something to think about. And like Josh is saying, they aren't considering multiplayer at the time. I think they later revised this letter to say that, hey, we hear everybody's complaints because a lot of people freaked out, and we are going to think about a different strategy. We can't implement the strategy starting May 10th because, you know, they announced it on like May the 3rd, so like we can't recode the program in a week. So sorry. But they said that they will hopefully try to accommodate the multiplayer scene as well online. Um, but yeah, it's something to consider. It's a very real possibility that it could come to EDH. And again, like if something happened in Paper Commander, I wouldn't suddenly be like, oh, I don't care. Who cares about those paper players? Like we're all Commander players. We're all EDH players. Like we should all be concerned, in my opinion. Like that's what makes us such a great community is that we all do care about the format. And online multiplayer is the same thing as online or paper multiplayer. Just like online 1v1 modern, well, 1v1 modern, but online modern should be the same as paper modern. Online standard should be the same as paper standard, in my opinion. Call me crazy.
Kind of just like something's happening over there. They have their own sort of thing going on. If something bad comes out of it, then I think the rabble will continue to rouse. But
Yeah, I have said in the past that I think I want Wizards to take command of the ban list just to make it official, but I don't want them to do it in this manner because I feel like if they're focusing on 1v1, that's not what Commander is. I've said this many times in the past. To me, it's a little bit of a misnomer that we named our format Commander because, yes, I know that that's sort of the pillar of our format is that you always have that one card available to you, but 1v1 to me really is not even Commander. It's like Legacy Light. And if you...
Okay, so I have the unpopular opinion where I agree with Josh. To make EDH, and I do keep calling it EDH because I do want to set a precedence between Commander, which is I kind of 1v1 is more Commander, and EDH is, you know, what Sheldon Menery and his friends created, the group setting. I do feel like Wizards though should legitimize and control the rules for the format, just like they do with every other format that they run tournaments for. But I want them to do it in a correct manner. To turn around and say, well, we're only going to care about 1v1. I understand that their experience is probably in 1v1, because again, standard, legacy, vintage, modern, 1v1 in terms of tournaments. But I feel like they have an opportunity here to do something different and do it right and do it in a way that people will like if they spend the time to get to know the format, get to know like the content creators. I'm sure Jimmy, Josh, Justin, Steven, John, Jeremy, the Professor, Wedge all have interacted with people who work at Wizards. There's probably, you know, they probably put their feelers out and that's how these guys got hold of cards to do their Amonkhet video before the set was fully spoiled. They teased that they had cards that we didn't get to know about because it wasn't publicly released yet. So there's again, like even with the distributor and manufacturer of the game, there are some ties to the content creators. So you have an opportunity now to get consensus from not just your consumer reports and your like financial reports, but reach out to these guys and what do they think? And what does their audience think or say or want to see? Like you have an opportunity now to start perfecting no perfecting I don't want to use I guess perfect, but like really evolving your marketing ability for this format that is really different from any other format. Again, like they're doing 1v1 because they're used to 1v1. That's what their experience is. And now you have a chance to evolve. And instead of doing that, I feel like they just said, nope, we're going to keep doing it the way we've always done it because this is the way we've done it. And this is how we do business. And I think that's a mistake. It's not bad because as Wizards is a business, right? At the end of the day, for anybody who is going to turn around and be like, oh, well, they're just doing this for the cash grab. I mean, yeah. Like, you can't even fault them because they're a business. Like, yeah, we get enjoyment out of their product. Yes, we come together and make it about friendships and experiences and memories. But at the end of the day, Wizards of the Coast is a business. Yes, they want to make a profit. I don't fault them for that, and I don't feel like that's a bad thing. I just feel like they could do better. Like, if you appeal to this group of people that want to play this format this way and then legitimize it and put, more resources or attention into evolving the format in a way that people like, they might buy more product, which is then good for your business. You just have to be willing to adapt. That's my opinion. I think I've said that like three
Look
times.
at the most played cards in 1v1 Commander, and you look at the most played cards in Legacy, they line up pretty closely. And so, to me, what makes Commander Commander is multiplayer. That's what makes it different. I mean, when you get right down to it, Legacy, Vintage, Modern, Standard are all just deck building constraints, but they're all 1v1 formats. And Commander 1v1 is just another deck building constraint. So it's more like those other four. But none of those and no other real format has the multiplayer aspect, and I think that's what really makes Commander Commander. And so it scares me. This whole they're gonna gather data, and I'm worried they'll misapply
hold on.
it.
That's me saying they're gathering data. They did not say that anywhere else. That's like
Again, so when they made this video, it may not have been released. Well, so it was released because I did see the date was on the 5th of May. Wizards did say that they would be gathering statistics. I forget the details of how they said they were going to do it, but they did say they were going to start like listening to the people in terms of what they wanted out of ban lists and format rules and stuff like that. So at this time, Jimmy may have been speaking as, this is all we know, but in reality, like at this point now of maybe when they're recording or whatever, it did change a little bit. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like this came out on the 3rd. Then we saw an update from the 5th. It's the 11th when I'm recording this. It's Wednesday night. So just some things to be aware of. And again, like you can't fault them for when I'm recording it, obviously.
me putting my own ideas
I
into
know.
this.
That's my worry, though, is that they're going to start to make decisions that are going to inevitably, because people are going to come out and say, oh, Wizards said this.
The thing is, I would just wait until it actually happens in this case. And the big thing is that multiplayer sucks online. It's just a really unfun way to play Commander because
you don't have the social dynamic.
You don't have this.
Okay. So I actually have two things. One, I agree with Jimmy. We do need to have a little bit more patience and a little bit more acceptance, I think, of Wizards doing something that they might be doing for the first time. Wizards came out with their announcement. Everybody went ape shit, like ape crap. Everybody went nuts. I saw like 5 people the day of the announcement basically say like, "Hey, I'm selling my collection because I'm not gonna play Elder Dragon Highlander on online anymore." And then 2 days later, they came out with an announcement like, "Okay, we understand, we hear you. Like, stop freaking out. We're willing to work with you guys because you guys are our audience, our consumer base. We want to make you guys happy." So for everybody out there who like is jumping the gun and doing things based on these announcements, like go ahead and be vocal. Go ahead and express hopefully professionally and politely your opinions on things. Like I'm trying not to bash Wizards. I'm trying not to bash Jim. I'm trying not to bash Josh. I'm trying not to bash anybody. Like I don't think anybody's doing anything maliciously. I think we're just like growing pains, right? Like you just need to be able to be willing to be flexible, adaptable, and listen to people. Wizards said that they would listen to us, and we have to see. It could wind up not really changing for the multiplayer. Who knows? Maybe they will turn around and almost make the 1v1 a different format. Like here's the deck building restrictions, very similar to over here, separate ban list, and it's 1v1. But then those guys over there are the EDH players. But they're not going to call it something like that over here. Um, that was the first point. And then oh, the social aspect thing is entirely up to you. And I don't mean like you as in Jimmy and Josh. I mean you as a player. Find friends who are willing to play online. If you have funds restrictions, I mean, I am but a poor enlisted man. John and I met through being enlisted at the same duty station. So, our funds are not like we're definitely not rich. We're not raking in any money here. So, online is a great alternative. And you guys have seen it, like we voice chat every time. Like there is a social aspect. Like I know the chat's probably annoying. I honestly consider the chat to be just tracking of what's going on in the game so that I can go back and it's actually easier for me to play the game online almost because one, they remember all the triggers and the rules for me, and two, like if I ever forget or miss something, I can go back into the chat log and see what happens. So I like it for that aspect. But if there was no way to do like voice chat, like we do it through the Twitch app, um, yeah, that would suck. Jimmy and Josh are 100% right. That would suck. You wouldn't get that social aspect. I met somebody completely by accident. Oh, I met them through a Facebook group. Gave them my Twitch account, gave them my MTGO, not gave them my account, but gave them my username. And me and this person whose name is James, we were friends on the Twitch app. We're friends on MTGO, and I sit there and I talk to James while I play. There's a social aspect. It's what you make it. And then the EDH Reddit, the subred, REDH, has a announcement for a Discord server for it's paper but it's through Skype. There's nothing saying that you can't get on the Discord server and set up time and place, not time and not place, but a time to play MTGO with somebody on the Twitch app or on a private Discord server. Like you can do those things. Don't be limited by what MTGO is providing you. Find other ways. Like if you want a social aspect, just say, hey, hey, opponent, do you have a mic or a headset like I'm wearing right now? And can we, do you mind if we were to chat? Uh, there's nothing wrong with that. If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, yeah, actually. I mean, I play League of Legends, and on League of Legends, every once in a while, you get somebody who drops a link, and it's a link to their Twitch call. They have a call going with their duoing, and you can get invited to the call so that you guys can communicate because that's more strategic based. But like, I want to do that because I don't play games just to sit here by myself. Do. But that again, that's just my opinion.
Social dynamic, you lose a lot of the political aspects, and also like it's really easy to miss something, right? In Commander, it's only like, hold on, let's back up. You did that, I need to do this. In multiplayer Commander, if you hit one button, it's like, oh, and that opportunity is gone. So it's like a really poopy way to play Commander.
So as somebody who I've been playing Magic for a very long time, since I think I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I'm 28 now. At my last station, me and John were some of the veterans of the group, along with a couple other people, and we had a lot of newer players. And it's actually refreshing on MTGO to turn around and be like, you can't just go back. You can't do takebacks. You can't do, oh, well, I would have done this. Like, nope, game's already past that. So it's up in the air. If you're a newer player, I understand you might want the capability to make mistakes and to learn from them and then to go back and kind of fix them because it sucks if you forget to do something or you forget a trigger. The fact that MTGO catches your triggers for you, like that's another thing. I mean, and this is not to hate on the Commander Versus guys, but they just had their video released for Wednesday, and if you go through the YouTube comments, you'll see that they miss some stuff. Because, hey, we all miss some stuff when we're playing, right? I can't tell you how many times playing Paper Magic I've missed something or gotten a rule wrong. MTGO kind of helps you with that. So I guess it's a matter of perspective and preference. I like the fact that the program catches stuff for me. That sometimes I might miss. Sometimes I might miss my upkeep trigger. Sometimes I might miss a draw off of Edric or something like that because I forget he's out. And I'm concerned about what Danielle's doing over here or what John's doing over here, etc., etc. So I think, that's probably his opinion. Jimmy and Josh agreed with him, I believe. That's their opinion, and coming from being a paper player, I had those opinions as well, that the program's a little clunky. Again, like, I'm not trying to like talk Magic Online up like it's perfect. It's not. It's clunky. It needs probably a little bit of work, but it's not horrible. It's really not that bad. I would actually encourage more people to play Magic Online because, one, if more people played, that would encourage Wizards to put more resources into trying to correct those things. And two, like, you might be surprised what you learn from playing Magic Online just from the game, because again, like, there's interpretation, and sometimes like you Google search rules and you can't really find it because it's like a weird interaction, or it's something that if you were to look at like the details of the rules, you would realize, oh, this wasn't really a question in the first place. But you're not looking to sit there for 30 minutes and read through the subsets of the rules. You just want, hey, if I do this with this card out, does this interaction happen? Yes or no? And sometimes that's hard to find.
Online is, I could see something feasibly being Wizards being like, all right, online Commander, will have a very specific rule set just for 1v1.
I sort of wish
they had
they'd
their own
rename
thing.
it or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They might
Because it
rename
just
it to
causes
something else.
confusion that they call Commander. Well, let's go into a little bit of the specifics. I counted them up. The paper Commander ban list currently has 37 cards on it. They took Protean Hulk off and they put Leovold on, so that kind of was a wash. The online, the new ban list that Wizards just announced, again, 1v1 Magic Online Commander focused, is 54 cards. So they've got 17 more cards banned.
And specifically, they put them into a bunch of categories: fast mana, combo enablers, oppressive commanders, and other, and then multiplayer pointed bans, which seems like the most useless of them all because they said they're really focusing on 1v1. So fast mana, as always, Black Lotus and the Power Nine are banned. And the cards that are newly added to this, most notably for everyone, is Sol Ring.
Yeah.
There's also Gaia's Cradle, Mana Crypt, and Mana Vault. So
a lot of what people were confused about also from this, to add to like a previous point, was they banned Sol Ring. Wizards banned Sol Ring in 1v1, and I completely understand it. If player 1 gets a Sol Ring and player 2 doesn't, player 1's ahead by a mile. So you want to try to even the playing field, and that's fine. But again, like, you have those conspiracy theorists, people out there convincing other players that eventually this is going to bleed over into paper Magic. Why would they ban a card that they have put in almost every Commander product that they've released since they started releasing Commander products? So now people are all freaking out. The four Commander decks for Commander 2017 are coming out in August. Are they going to have Sol Rings? Are they not going to have Sol Rings? Is it going to be banned as of this set or not? So this, again, communication issues abound, and it points more to what Josh was saying. It's causing confusion and frustration in the environment.
And I think Mishra's Workshop is legal in Commander, right?
I don't know. I don't want to talk about every single card that's different. That
Another
just seems
thing-
like like a bad way to go. But there are a lot of differences. But Sol Ring's the big one, right?
Yeah,
But that's
and-
not that different than French Commander, which always had Sol Ring banned, because in 1v1, the player that gets Sol Ring and the other
just
player
dominates.
doesn't, you just win. Whereas in multiplayer, you can gang up and sort of even out that advantage.
Notably, a lot of cards that are on here, like Mishra's Workshop,
Unless you get a Mirari's Wake, because then you win. Just saying, John and Danny.
are a lot easier to obtain online than they are in person. So I could also see them becoming more of a prolific issue, because it's like, oh, I can get the Mishra's Workshop really easily, in the same way that you can get a Black Lotus online 80 times more easily than you could in real life and for a much cheaper price. So I can see why that might also contribute to some of the fast mana bans. But Gaia's Cradle, one of your favorite cards that you've used to great effect on game nights, also is gone.
Yep. Sensei's Divining Top is banned in online now, but
that-
obviously not in paper.
Seems almost entirely for time constraints, because it's multiplayer oriented bans. That's what's under here.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
It says this is a logistical consideration for Magic Online multiplayer. Sensei's Divining Top is one of the
We
egregious
should
cards.
say they are starting to have events on Magic Online where there will be prize payouts, which is one of the reasons I think that they need to sort of balance the format a lot more than we would worry about. And
Yeah,
again,
you can
since
now.
it's one-on-one, it's really just pushing Commander more towards what Legacy is to me. You know, it's not that different than sort of a Legacy event would look like. It's just they're trying to make the ban list reflect, you know, sort of a fair and even 1v1 playing field.
Yeah, I think they want to put events online so that more people will play Commander online, and as a result, they need to be more restrictive on what works 1v1 in these new queues, these sort of like friendly Commander leagues that they're doing that you can win tickets and play points. So as a result, it makes sense that they want to make sure that, you know, you don't just get run over every single time you put money or points into one of these things.
I will say if that is the thought process behind some of these bans, I'm all for it. Um, just playing like one-on-one with John or Danny or in a group, I've timed out like 3 or 4 times, and it is the most frustrating thing in the world because at the kitchen table we never had a timer. It was just we go until we go. If it takes an hour, if it takes 4 hours, if it takes all night, we're just gonna keep playing until we have a winner. But again, like in a 1v1 situation, obviously you don't want that, especially when it's for official like prizes and stuff. So I understand that entirely. And again, like that kind of consideration is exactly why I wanted to see Wizards take control of the format in a prize setting. When we're talking about just having fun, like here's your official list. And like I guess you could kind of do what the rule committee has always done and say like, hey, you can always do your own house rules. But then you get the only thing I don't like about that mentality is that you get a lot of different house rules in different groups, and then like anytime you meet up with a different group, you don't know how to play again. Well, I used to have to tell people at my table, back in my last station, we always do your one free mulligan, right? It doesn't matter what the official rules said, you always get one free mulligan of going to 7. I think that is a rule now, but like when I first started playing 4 years ago, it wasn't. But and like we have a thing where like if you go down to 5 cards and you just can't get more than like one land in a 5 by mulliganing down to 5, just reshuffle your deck, draw 7. We don't want you to sit here and be miserable. We're playing this to have fun as a group. It sucks to have one person sit there and be screwed. So, you know, like, but now like my group breaks up and we all go to different groups. Now all of a sudden everybody has to readjust. Maybe that group likes that rule or adjusts that rule, and then they've got their own rules, and it just that's why like house rules are kind of like iffy. I don't know.
They've got a whole section that is oppressive commanders, so commanders that are.
For the record, just as I see the list, I get most of these. Arkham Daxon, I can understand a little bit. I know some of the artifact crazy things that you can do, especially when it's like kind of almost a free search half the time. Derevi, I almost feel like Derevi got banned because they didn't want to have to deal with his ability where you could pay from the come in from the command zone. Like they didn't want to code it, so the hell with it. Edric, again, I don't really understand. Braids, Irio, I don't even know how to say that one because I almost never see it. Rofellos, Grizzlebrand, those are already banned. We all know why they're banned. If you don't know why they're banned, look at the card and you'll figure it out. Zur the Enchanter, I actually love seeing Zur the Enchanter banned. Just because so many people, again, like Leovold, so many people do build him in a way where it basically says stop playing as I slowly win the game. If somebody can combo out and win the game in like, you know, whatever. I ran a Cranko Mob Boss deck. I could kill somebody on turn 4 and win by turn 6 in a 4-person game. I'm not against combo competitive decks, but when you do it slowly, that's what I don't like. Lisan is a little weird. I've never seen him be super oppressive. It's more of toolboxy. But if it is oppressive, then, you know, hey, and you want to do away, and Magic Wizards wants to do away with it, then again, oppressive commanders sometimes can kind of suck.
Banned, notably that are not on the paper ban list but are banned online. Zur, Yisan, Derevi, all deemed unworthy for Magic Online. But in an awkward situation, Leovold, who was just banned in paper, is not banned on Magic Online.
I
He's
suppose
totally
his
fine.
effect is slightly less powerful when it's one player instead of 3 players not be able to draw any cards, but yeah.
And then, of
interesting.
course,
It's less powerful in the sense that like you're not locking down more than one person, but it's not any less oppressive. That's I shouldn't have rolled my eyes. That was probably a little bit rude. But yeah, there's still being on the opposite end of that. It doesn't matter whether you're by yourself or miserable with everybody else. You're still miserable. And that's my thoughts.
in a funny twist, Protean Hulk is banned online, but was just unbanned in
Again, going back to a previous point, inconsistencies. I know that the rules committee is not affiliated officially with Wizards, but these entities talk. I don't really know. I'm a little iffy on that one. I'm a little iffy on trying to give anybody the benefit of the doubt because I feel like this could have been avoided. Maybe the rules committee could have gotten wind of this and been like, especially if the bannings are like scheduled, like Wizards could reach out and be like, hey, just so you know, this is gonna happen. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna ban these cards. You can do whatever you want, but I just want you to be aware. I feel like that, or who knows, maybe the rules committee could have then not vetoed Wizards because Wizards can do what they want. It's a product. But maybe they could have like convinced them not to do something. But whatever.
paper. So it's almost like the most recent thing the rules committee just did. Magic Online decided to flop those.
Yeah, or they had no idea that they were going to do it, and
possible.
they had this list already made.
I mean,
If
they
that makes
have
sense.
people on the rules committee, so they must have known. I don't know how far in advance they know that stuff, though. This
knows?
stuff could have been set in motion months ago, and they just decided, a few weeks ago to ban the stuff in paper. I don't know exactly how that timeline works.
A lot of combo enablers are gone, including Survival of the Fittest, Food Chain, Entomb. So there's just a lot. It's interesting. Doomsday for another.
On behalf of all Prosh players all over the world, Food Chain.
One. It's Hermit Druid 2 is gone. I will say that much. So that's a card that I think it makes sense why it's gone. But this is, it's interesting. It's a lot of cards banned. And honestly, everyone watching, everyone listening, 99.5% of us will never have this affect us.
99.5. That's
Yeah.
pretty exact.
I'm estimating. I mean, look, I've never played Commander on Magic Online, and I really have no interest to because I'm interested in playing it with people more than one person, and I can see and talk to everyone. That's the heart of Commander.
To me, I'm going to play 1v1 online. It's going to be limited, or it's going to be sealed or draft.
Oh, right. Yeah. Obviously.
There's no reason for me to go play 1v1 Commander, which I do not consider to be Commander. So,
And it's something we never did before, and I don't think this is going to change that. For the people that are really dedicated to it, maybe let's say 1,000 people, great. There are way more of that playing paper. So
that's my worry, is because there's so the online Commander community is so small that it really shouldn't affect many people. But what's happened here is because it's Wizards officially making this ban list, that's going to proliferate in a way that's not commensurate with the amount of people that play Magic Online.
Yeah, but I don't know how many people are going to make a Magic Online deck and then build that deck in real life.
I'm just saying
that
the disparity between the two lists is going to be irksome, theoretically, even though in reality it doesn't actually cross over and matter very much. That's my worry, is that the discussion will be like, well, why are they different? That's confusing, blah, blah, blah. And then, I don't know. I'm frustrated by the whole thing. I wish, I don't know.
I think Wizards has realized that no one plays Commander Online and would like to change that. And they're making it more of a 1v1 format online, which seems...
Call it something else.
I would like for them to call it something else. But I don't really disagree with them wanting to make Magic Online a better place for people to play every kind of format they want to, should they want to, if that makes sense. And right now, multiplayer Commander Online is almost non-existent, so...
All right, well...
So, and again, this kind of goes back to some stuff before. That might be true. Statistically, that might be true. Me, John, and Danny might be weirdos. I know some of the people that I interact with on Twitter have blatantly said that they do not play Magic Online at all. That's fine. It's not for everybody, I guess. I think it is what you make of it, and we have a unique situation. How many times do you make friends and then move to completely opposite sides of the country? Literally completely opposite sides. John is almost as West Coast as you can go. I'm a couple hours away from the shore on the East Coast. So, but we still want to play. We still want to play these kind of games, and I think the more and more you go down the road in terms of time, as years go by, I think the more potential that games online have the chance to continue to blossom because they have blossomed. Uh, 10 years ago, gaming online was basically unheard of. Now we have esports where these teams with people from all over the world get together and, like, yeah, we're playing in a room together, but that's not how it gets organized from like the very beginning. You know what I mean? These teams get created by finding people all over the world who are really good at the game, and you know, LCS has people who are from Korea playing for the NA league. So the more and more we go into esports and online gaming, the more potential you have to see more people want to do it. Uh, I think if you stick online commander into this very different and limited box that they're trying to kind of make it sound like it is, or that they want it to be, I think you're going to have then that's what people are going to believe it is. And once you set that precedent in somebody's mind, you're not going to be able to turn it off because now all of a sudden it's going to get out that Commander Online is just a 1v1 league. It's just Legacy Light, I think you called it, or Vintage Light, or Modern Light, whatever it is. But that's not what it's supposed to be. And it wasn't up until this ban list. Like, if you did play EDH Online, at least in my experiences, and I'm only one guy, and I can't speak for the entire community, but the fact that there was only one guy, there's got to be others. Like, I can't be the only person, like me, John, and Danny can't be the only people playing multiplayer online. I'm sorry, statistically, I think that's impossible for there to be like just one out of everybody who's playing. Is it a small number? Maybe. Will that number grow? Possibly, possibly not. But I think the idea of, well, it doesn't affect me, so it doesn't matter, or it only affects a small amount of people, so it doesn't matter. Like, what about that small amount of people? Are they just no longer important? Do they no longer matter? I don't know. That's I felt like that was maybe not the I don't think he meant it the way I took it. Um, well, I don't think they meant it the way I took it because Josh agreed a little bit at the end too. Um, but that is kind of how it came across to me, and I might just be like a negative person, but that's my reaction to this part of the video. After this, they do start going and they start listing off all kinds of different content. If you are into Magic the Gathering and you want to watch gameplay, if you want to watch deck techs, if you want to watch videos on reviews on products, if you want to watch history, if you're interested in the finance, almost anything you can think of to do with Magic the Gathering, they do go over a huge list. It's a great video, guys. It really is. This entire rest of the part is so positive toward the community to turn around and basically be like, hey, go out and find these. Well, not go out and find them. We've collected these names for you, and they have links in the description. I'm going to link to this video. I'm not going to link to all the ones that they link to because you can get it in theirs. If you come across this video and you've never heard of Game Nights, if you've never heard of Commander Versus, if you've never heard of MTG Finance, if you've never heard of Command Cast, if you've never heard of the Command Ring, etc., 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 check this video out. Check this video out. Look at all these links. Check out all these different content creators. Subscribe to them, like them, watch them, support them in any way that you can. Grow the community. Make it better. It gets better just by you being a part of it. Put that on a t-shirt. But for now, guys, that's all I'm going to have for you. Those are my opinions. Those are my reactions to what they said, and also a little bit to, the Wizards announcement itself. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys agree, disagree with me, leave a like. You can leave a dislike too if you disagree. That's fine. I'm perfectly fine knowing that I don't have all the answers, and I'm not always right. I'm not perfect. I would appreciate if you do leave a dislike, leave a comment. Tell me why. Explain what your opinion is so that I can know, and who knows. Maybe you'll convince me. Maybe you'll make me see the light. Of course, always, I hope you guys subscribe to the channel. I'm going to start probably doing more videos like this where we just kind of talk and go over some things. Maybe I'll do my own deck techs of like some of our budget decks that we do on the MTGO League. If you are interested in our MTGO League, which I guess is going to be changing a little bit with this announcement, definitely subscribe to the channel. You got to subscribe to the channel. You got to want more. and we'll give it to you. We'll give you more. For now, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at DM_cross. I'll put both Jimmy and Josh's Twitter handles into the description below so that you guys can follow them. Again, they're really great. If you tag them in something, if you comment on some of their stuff, they do try to get, I swear, they try to like dedicate some time in their day to get in touch, like to respond to everybody who tries to interact with them, which is awesome. That it's humble, very down to earth. Same thing with the guys at Commander Versus, in my experience, in the Mana Source and Tolarian community. Those are the only guys. Those are the biggest content creators that I have ever gotten feedback or responses from. There we go. Magic the Gathering player, and I couldn't think of the word response. Right? Good job, me. Yeah, so I'll put my Twitter handle, I'll put this video in the link below, I'll put their Twitter handles in the link below. But until next time, guys, that's all I got for y'all. Peace. Love y'all.